Okay guys, been out hiking for a while. I am actually backside of the saddle in Wenatchee. I hope you guys can see that over there. There's the Columbia River down there. I am going to do a video up on that rock right there. And I'll show you guys kind of how I set up roughly when I'm just out for a quick hike, and I have a small backpack. It's actually my son's camelback. He couldn't take it to the Marines with them. They have their own backpacks, so they can only have so much stuff. Anyhow, with those kiddos in the Marine, those family members, those husbands in the Marines, and whatever service you're in, I just would hope that at this time you would think about them. I know there's some supplies that are running short. I was talking to my youngest son, and he's like, "Mom, we have 4 rolls of toilet paper and that's it. Nobody has toilet paper right now." Now, I mean, I'm not all worried about that, but if you guys remember that you can send supplies to the USO, it's wherever your family is, wherever your friends are. Maybe find out what they need, or just what is not being supplied to you locally. They're having those same things going on. Plus, as far as I know, they're not allowed to be deployed right now. So that actually, I know, cuts their paychecks down. It's kind of the similar way when I was on the fire department. When we went and worked out of state or on big fires, we made a lot of money. So we got per diem and all of that, and so that increased our paychecks a lot. And now that I'm learning a little more about the service, with my sons being in, I'm learning that is part of their pay, and it can make a big difference on the small amount they get paid. So anyway, just think about them, send them supplies, write them letters, whatever. They're gonna be a little bit more stuck right at the moment until we know. I'm gonna go ahead and climb up this rock here and let you guys see what I'm working on today and how I get myself set up for pieces when I want to paint. I've seen a couple people up here, but it's kind of nice that I'm by myself for a little bit, and I'm gonna see if there's a high place on this rock that I can set this up for you guys to see. So this is probably the highest place right here, and if I had another rock, I'd prop it better, which I might be able to find something that's a little loose for that purpose, or just see what you guys can see. You're probably looking up in the right now. So there's a good spot, maybe. Not quite the angle that I wanted. So what I kind of do is just play around, like, what can you guys see? Maybe right there. I want you guys to be able to see my painting, but I also like you guys to be able to see that view over there. So I am going to kind of sit on down here, put my legs in the way, and see what you guys can see. And it doesn't look like you are getting a good view. So I'm going to change where I'm at. So, covering the camera. So anyhow, today, the reason I was talking about our service members is because I'm in Washington State and we've been shut down completely, and everybody is trying to figure out, how to work through this whole process, and I'm not going to go into all of that, but today is St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day. Of course, we all know it's lucky. I believe I have a little bit of Irish and Scottish in me about what we've been learning about my ancestors over the years. So happy St. Patty's Day to y'all. Let's see if I can prop this without falling off, and you guys can see what I'm doing. There. Well, I'll show you around a little bit. I'm gonna pull I guess I don't need my jacket off. I'll just put that on. Pull my pack off and set this up. And it's a pretty view where I'm at, and a pretty spot. And let's see what I can do to get set up. So I kind of just wanted you guys to see how I set up. And I don't know how long I'm gonna paint here or not. Sometimes that depends on if people come around. Got a very inexpensive easel right here, and if I can use it, I will. If I can't, I may just not. And then I've got a really inexpensive multimedia pad. I use it like this, and also what I've done as well is I've wrapped them with canvas. I started, and then I taped them off, and then they can go in a piece. I started this one. This is my last one that's in here. So what I did, this side's not primed because I only expected to paint on one side, which I started this one up above here a while back, and I'll show you where I did that. Oh, look at that. That's a perfect little spot right there. I found the best spot ever. All right. So over here, if you can see that pinnacle where I'm at, not that far away, that is where I started this piece a while ago. And I have not finished it. There's the Columbia River. There's the saddle right there in front of me, which is, you can also see from down below. It's a pretty cool spot. I guess a lot of plein air painters around here do it. To me, it looks like devil's horns. Yeah, that's my take on it. So anyways, it could be a saddle though. All right, I'm gonna put this down. You guys can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna paint a little bit on this piece here. And yeah, I know you guys are probably pretty aware that oil paintings by now, if you've been watching any of my YouTube videos, or if you are into painting yourselves, that oil paintings take quite a bit of time to dry. So I just have, I usually bring like a plastic bag with me because I usually want to keep things covered with the oil paint so they don't get all over everything. I've got a dirty piece. Sorry guys, I didn't get that quite cleaned. So anyways, I've got a couple of brushes is all with me. Well, I've got 3, I believe, and a palette knife. And I got this small one. This one's one that I cut myself, or whatever it's called. What do you call it when you clip your hair? When you give your hair a haircut. So anyways, you can do that with your brushes if you ever want a certain shape for your brushes. This is a pretty inexpensive brush, and I just wanted it to be much flatter when I paint with it. And anyways, you can cut them all kinds of ways, like angled or whatever you want. These are a little bit more expensive brushes, and they're usually you don't need to mess with those because they're already done in a certain way. Hog hair, what I think it's hog hair brushes. And then these are like some palette knives. I have one of my favorites that I use all the time, but this one for the little pieces I love. So anyhow, I can't see this all that well. And then I always bring a little bit of paper towels because it's better to wipe your brushes and your palette knife on things. And then I got some white paint. I like the big tubes of white because I do a lot of light stuff. I got some phthalo blue, which I like. I got some sap green. As you can see, I use different types of paint, different brands. This is a Cadmium red light, and I brought a yellow medium. Yellow medium is one of my favorites because you can mix it. Actually, all these colors are some of my favorites because you can mix them and make some of the best colors out of them, and they're all primary. I mean, white's not a primary, but let's see. Yeah, I think blue, green, red, and yellow are primaries. I'm so bad at that. I just know I know how to mix them and I know how to paint with them. So I am going to put these directly on my brushes because I did not bring a palette today. And I could, I guess, put that on the rocks, but I really don't want to. I'm not sure I want to go ahead and use the rocks as a place to paint. I could also paint in this plastic bag if I need to mix a little bit, which, yeah, it's pretty simple. I'll do that. So using the rock as a palette and the plastic bag covering it. So plastic is good for stuff. I use less and less of it nowadays, which is awesome because it's become more aware of our wasteful lives and how we just waste so much stuff in this world. And so I didn't even realize that I was doing it, but I just became more aware, more conscious of what was going on. So you guys can still see. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and put some white on my plastic bag here, and use that over the rock. And I'll take all my paints out so that, well, most of them. Just keep one to hold it down in case the wind comes up. And I think I will do, what do I want to work in? I think I'll do some blue with that right now. And I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. And I know I got a couple of new paints yesterday. I'm glad because the stores were shutting down after yesterday, and I got a couple of new ones. Because there was a 50% off sale, and it's like way less expensive to do it that way. And I love my palette knives for mixing. And I think I'm going to use this flat brush that I was talking about and just not mix it all the way. But I've got some really great colors in here. And I'm not going to cover those, but I'm going to use them. One of the reasons I love to start a piece and then go back later is for the time that I've spent painting. There is always such a Hi, how are you guys today?
Good, how are you?
I'm really, really well. Such a beautiful place, right?
Yeah, could you find a better spot just to sit and work?
Pretty much not today.
You don't need to go up there. Here, hey, come back down here. Hey, listen to me, Utah. Utah!
What kind of dog is your dog?
Well, it's her dog.
Oh, what kind of dog is your dog?
She's a Willamute.
A Willamute, so a little bit of wolf?
She doesn't mind worth a damn, as you've just figured out.
Are you a little bit of a wolf? I used to have wolf growing up.
Hopefully she'll push you off the edge.
Oh, you're not going to push me off. You're a sweetheart. Yeah. Oh, you want to see the puppy I can see? Oh, there's the puppy.
Yeah, Utah says, I'll just stay here. This is really nice. Utah.
Oh, I guess the puppy's name is Utah. Is Utah a girl or a boy? A girl. Well, Utah just came over and kissed me. It was very sweet of her. I'm doing a live video I'm doing a YouTube video right now with my painting, so.
Come on down. Utah has her own Facebook.
Does she?
Instagram.
Oh, I have a big social media following on Facebook.
Her name is spelled with a Y. Y-U-T-A-H.
So what's the Utah Adventures on Facebook? I'll check it out. Instagram. Okay.
Oh, Utah the Wolf Dog. So now, how do you get down there?
My name's September Chisholm. I'll check you guys out. Yeah.
I just see something.
Yeah.
I'll see your videos from up here. Yeah, that's a beautiful spot up there. Like you have to know to do it. And bother somebody, yeah. We're not supposed to interrupt people. But you don't really care because you're not my dog.
So,
I love this dog.
got a couple of ladies. It's kind of fun to run into. I guess this puppy has followers, Utah, on Facebook. So I guess you'll get to see that on my YouTube, that you can follow that puppy as well. So anyways, I am really kind of just putting some color in here right at the moment, and I think I'm done putting in the blue and the white for this moment. So I'm going to actually mix in some sap green into my blue and white here, and I want you guys to kind of see that there are some trees down below, which are really pretty. So often when I'm doing a video, I do not necessarily do exactly what's in front of me. As far as painting, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I found that I can stand in front of a spot and completely get it fully exactly what it looks like to the eye, to what I see, and to the viewer as well, without really looking at it and putting it in my painting. So it's quite interesting. My younger son had seen a painting that I had done in 16 below weather in front of the Bridger Mountains outside of Bozeman, and we both run it. I've done the Ridge Race there, and he's run it a bit with his cross country team, and I showed him, and it actually, that piece had made someone cry when they'd seen it, and it was done really cold. So honestly, I was so cold, and I was just getting it done, and I was putting in the color, and I was putting in the paint, and I was standing in front of the Bridgers, but I'm not gonna say I was even really looking at it. But when he saw it, he's like, oh, I know exactly where you painted this. So it's like interesting how your body and your mind and everything can soak in what's around you. I think people talk about people with photographic memories, and I don't know that would be the way to describe me, but like the way that I soak up life at times, like, and see things, and it's all about perspective. We all have different perspectives in life. Anyways, I'm gonna keep painting and stop talking about it. And let's see how long this video is so far. Yeah, I can't paint. I can't do really long ones on YouTube. They don't my videos stop at a certain point. So I'm gonna mix this green a little bit here and get some trees in there of what I was seeing down below. And I think I'm gonna actually use a different brush for now because I don't want that much. I didn't bring very much paper towels either because then I don't spend that much on. So I had already started some trees in here before. I think one of the coolest things about my paintings too is that sometimes I get these pieces started and I have, usually between 15 and 30 pieces started always. And then I'll finish, one, sign it. And what excites me about that is that there's a lot of times that I will start these pieces and I look at them and I think, well, where am I really going with this? And then I just put it down. It doesn't bother me at all that I don't even know. And then all of a sudden, there's a reason to finish a piece, and I finish it and I sign it, and it's immediately necessary for someone to buy it because whatever I put into the piece at that time, it just really blessed that person or it really spoke to that person. And I don't always really understand it myself, but I love to see, that that's happened, and that's happened a few times for sure now, that I've been painting for professionally for a couple years now. So anyways, I wonder if you guys can hear those birds. I'm not sure what those are, but they sound super cool. So I'm not gonna do a super long video here, but I wanted you guys to get an idea of my setup and all of that and how I just use the basics to paint. You don't have to have a huge amount of I guess you don't have to have a huge amount of supplies to get started. You don't have to have a huge amount of supplies even to sell. You have to know a few things, I believe. But so many, you just, a lot of people think they have to learn and learn and learn and do this schooling and all this stuff, and they have to be taught by somebody to become masters, and really it's just doing it that gets you to see what you're doing. I'm just so happy some of my friends encouraged me to just go ahead and paint, and to sell them, because I think we're all a little bit scared that we're not good enough at times. But once you get to see your own work and you love it, and then you're like, oh, and then you don't, and then I would never compare mine to other people's. I honestly don't. I love some amazing artists, and I certainly have admiration for certain artists, but that doesn't mean that I ever want to do anything like them. And so when you get to the point where you aren't worried about whether yours is like anybody else's, then you just start doing your own thing, and then you don't worry about if your stuff is perfect. Just stop and take a look at it, and really like think about it. in a positive light and see, look at it and see it. And you'll probably really surprise yourself. So, anyhow, I'm loving this. I've got some trees going on here. I've got a river, and I've got some sunrise or sunset, whichever it wants to be when I finish it. The area around here is quite, if you wanted to say it, uncolorful, but it's very colorful. The one thing about the mountains around here, you can't see a whole lot of shadows or anything right now. But where I'm from in Bozeman, Montana, the mountains are covered in trees, and you can't see all the amazing patterns as well as you can here. When the shadows come up, when the sun rises in the morning and when it goes down at night, oh my gosh, I know I've showed you some videos already, but it's just the coolest thing because you can just see the deepness of these crevices and the way that the landscape is. And yeah, it's just so different. Every place I go, I am just so excited to be there because it doesn't matter if it's brown, green, whatever. If you really start to look at things, if you start to look at the clouds, if you start to look, you start to see color, you start to see the beauty, even in the things that seem bland and boring. So anyways, I love you guys. Have a beautiful, lovely day. Happy St. Patty's Day. Remember our troops. Be happy, and I hope my nose isn't running because I think it is. Be happy and faithful to be kind to those during this time. And it's St. Patty's Day 2020. Love you guys. Bye.